Some folks go fishing and some go catching, and I can tell you that catching is a lot more fun. On this week's show, I'm going to be passing along a couple of little secrets that if you know them and implement them, you can catch a bunch of stripers this coming weekend. It's all about a river. I explain it all coming up next. Going to be a lot of fun. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
You're watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hi everybody, I'm really glad you're with us on this week's show because there's a thing that happens around our region. It happens in the late winter going into early springtime. It happens on the upper ends of major reservoirs and river systems, major creeks, when the stripers make their annual fake spawning run up those rivers. Now today, I'm going to take the Nitro Z19 with the big Mercury Pro XS 200 on the back of it out on a river system. Now, as you can see right here behind us, this is a major river on the upper end of a major reservoir. It's got a lot of stripers in it. We're going to pass along some techniques and tips today that's going to help you locate these stripers, what they're doing right now, and put some in your boat. And by the way, they're very tasty eating fish as well. And while we're doing that, we're taking you around your local region for your fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters. Right now, let's get it all started back at the FSN studios with your weekend planner.
The Salooner tables are predicting fair game fish activity for both days on the water this weekend. Peak times will begin a little after sunrise and again in the evenings at 7:49 on Saturday and 9:37 on Sunday. Nights will feature a crescent moon that is 38% visible. And remember that daylight savings time begins early Sunday morning, so set your clock forward an hour when going to bed on Saturday night. Stay with us. We've got fishing reports from around the area on the way. Plus, Bassmaster elite angler Edwin Evers joins us for this week's Ask the Pro question. Back in a bit.
Well, first things first, let me describe to you what's happening this time of the year. Late winter, early springtime. Stripers think they're going to spawn. They migrate to the upper ends of the reservoirs and begin to transition into the river systems. Big major creeks, major river systems is where you want to look. Now, as you can see, I'm idling along and I'm in about 20 to 22 feet of water. You want to find the bait fish, and in this case, the bait fish are all sucked down against the bottom. You can actually see a few stripers mixed in with those bait fish. We're in about 22 feet of water, 21 feet, and you can clearly see a bunch of shad all huddled together in this deeper water, in the deeper holes in the river channel, and the stripers instinctively follow to that bait fish. Now, we're going to talk a lot more about how to pinpoint these fish and the techniques you'll need to catch them on this week's episode. Stay with us. Going to get ourselves set up over the top of these fish right here, see if we can catch a few. Stay with us.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than a boat, it's a tracker. Mercury Outboards, go boldly. Lowrance and the new Hook 2, the world's easiest fish finder. And Louisiana Travel. Plan your fishing trip at louisianatravel.com.
Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. Got him. He hammered it. That one came up and got it right here by the boat. Late winter, early springtime stripers today. That's not a big one by any means, but it's something to get us going. No monster or anything, but good to get it going. All right. Hey, there we go. Welcome back, everybody. We've made it out, and we got a fish. That didn't take very long either. Well, there's what we're fishing for. Just a good solid striper. That would probably be a keeper if we were keeping them, which we're not. But here we go. Let me explain to you right up front that you need three key elements to make this work. It's winter, late winter, going into early spring. Number one, you need cold water, preferably below 55 degrees. Actually, the colder the better, because it gangs the bait up and the fish up in the deepest holes in the upper ends of the reservoirs and the river system. Number two, you need deep water, at least 20 feet deep and as deep as 40 or 50. find the concentrated deeper holes in the mouths of the river systems, and that's where the fish gang up, getting ready to go on this fake spawn up the creeks and rivers. And the third thing you need is bait fish. Find these concentration, these big clouds of bait ganged up on the bottom in these deep holes, and that's where the fish are going to be, somewhere around the dinner table. Find those three elements, cold water, deep water, and bait fish. You can find these stripers in this time of the year.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Tennessee, Kentucky, and Mississippi Fishing Report. There's a lot going on in this region right now. We've had a huge influx of rain for the past several weeks. Everything's wet, and the least little rain right now just makes a huge difference. All the rivers are running, there's a lot of color in the water, but it's also warming up. So there's a lot going on as far as fish migration and seasonal patterns. Let me tell you where to go get bit right now in this region. Let's start up north in Kentucky, and this time of year, it is really hard to beat Lake Cumberland, the jerkbait bite. Run in those main creek arms and find where the creek runs up against the bank. This makes a secondary point, a transition kind of bank. Throw a jerkbait, throw a square bill. Just a really good time to go there and catch a big bass, be smallmouth, largemouth, or a big spot. In Tennessee right now, God, Kentucky Lake's pretty hard to beat. A lot of watercolor, the lake's high, however, they're biting. Let me tell you a little tip. Go to the backs of the creeks where that water's running in and find the first gravel. Square bill, lipless bait like a red-eye shad. It's hard to beat right now. Let's talk Mississippi for a minute. There's only really one thing to do this time of year in Mississippi, and that's go catch those big old pie pan crappie. I'd go to Enid, I'd go to SouthEAST. You know the deal. It's happening there. But as I said, a lot of rain, a lot of watercolor, so we're gonna look at bright colors. Your chartreuse and blacks, your whites and chartreuse. Guys, it's a good time. It's a lot of fun to get out and just kind of, a lot of things biting, a lot of things happening. There's not really a wrong way to do it except not go. We'd love to see you here. God bless.
Oh, look at this, look at this, look at this. Got him. He hammered it. All right, fish on. Here he comes. Oh, he's a fighter too. He's got that, got my other line in him. There we go. Oh, he's got a mouthful of it. He's hooked well. That's gonna be a mess to get straightened out in a minute. All right, there we go. Just a good fighter right there, not a big one. But hey, they're biting out here. Got a little breeze blowing out of the north today. Little front come through, which is good for these fish. And got some fish biting, dead sticking them straight down. Swim in this net. There we go. All right. Look at this, look at this. Pull my rod straight down. All right. Fight me, you rascal. I have to slip a net under him. Swim in this net. There we go. All right. That's a halfway decent fish right there. Dead sticking straight down underneath the boat. That is so cool. I use those rod holders to keep me from putting any extra action on that bait. It just slides through that water nice and slow, and those fish just can't stand it. That's a fat one there. Look how fat that belly is. Those fish laying down there on the very bottom eating those shad. All right, there we go. Back he goes, fatty, little fatty. This technique is called dead sticking. The gear you're gonna need is a big heavy action rod. This is a 7-foot 11-inch rod. This is the Team Lew's Custom Pro speed stick. And I've got the Hypermag Team Lew's reel on it. I'll show you all the gear at the end, but here's the key right here. It's a lead jig head, about an ounce, ounce and a half, something like that. It's got a 5-inch soft plastic jerkbait on it, just like you'd use to catch bass up shallow in the springtime. Find what level the bait fish are laying. In this case, they're laying right on the bottom at about 25 feet of water. Let the bait go down to the level that the fish and the bait are holding at, and you use the boat position, the movement of the boat, to gently ease the bait along. You need the boat still and moving very slowly. I like to move my boat 0.2, 0.3 miles an hour on my Lowrance HDS 12 up here, that I can watch the speed over ground and see how fast I'm going. Got a couple of rods out in rod holders, and again, I use these rod holders just to discipline myself into not moving the bait so much. And every once in a while, wham, that rod goes down, and it's a lot of fun.
MirrOlure, building quality saltwater lures since 1937. Turn on the bite anytime. Tie on a MirrOlure. Well, Mississippi fishing continues on fire along the coastal areas there for sheepshead. They're catching them all around the bridges and the docks and the rocks. You should use a small hook on braided line with a split shot and a piece of shrimp and a crab knuckle if you can get it. Lots of limits of sheepshead are being caught, and they're just outstanding table fare. Really good on the grill. They're also catching black drum off the coast of Mississippi, primarily around Ship Island. The Gulfport Harbor is full of 2 to 4 pounds spotted sea trout, and they're being caught on live shrimp. Offshore Mississippi, well offshore, big yellowfins are still being caught around the hump by anglers who are chunking and using live baits. There's similar good sheepshead fishing over in Alabama. My good friend Captain Kevin Olmsted says that the sheephead fishing has been great in Mobile Bay around the rigs. In Georgia, redfish are getting much more active in the creeks. There's lots of good fish being caught around the shell bars near deep water by anglers using swim baits and live baits. There's also some very good sight fishing for redfish now in those creeks. You can see them pushing water along the banks. They'll take jigs and a number of other lures, including suspending MirrOlures and top dog MirrOlure baits are also very good. Cast well ahead of the school so you don't spook the fish, and work it just across their noses, and they should jump right on those plugs. Also in Georgia, my good friend Joey Thigpen, who's a tournament bass angler, he says the water is clearing and there's been some good fishing for bass to 4 pounds. This is Lake Seminole and near the town of Bainbridge. The bass are moving up off the ledges toward the hydrilla, and they're being caught in 3 to 5 feet of water. The Spring Creek area, which is a popular spring spot for early bass fishing, is clear and the fishing is tough, so you're best to fish elsewhere. The water temperature is in the high 60s to low 70s, and the largemouth bass are going to be spawning there very soon. Well, that's it for the Coastal South. Get out on the water, and when you go, please take a youngster with you.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lew's. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland. We know bass and crappie from heads to tails. And by Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades.
Man, there's a nice one right there. How about that? Sports fans, that's a good one. Here's a bite right here. Got him. All right, we got a fish on. There we go. See what I got. Ooh, it's a good pull. Set the drag a little bit. Whoa, baby. Oh, it's a good fight. All right, hey, welcome back, everybody. We're still out here. Oh, it's a good striper. The sun's kind of broken behind a mountain here. Look right here. Look right here. Still don't have it. Get in that net. All right. There we go. All right. We got one. Man, there's a nice one right there. How about that? Sports fans, that's a good one. Well, this works. Man, this dead sticking technique, I've got 3 or 4 rods sitting out here. Couple for me, couple for the cameraman. And there's a nice fish for you. All right. Well, this is what happens. You come out dead sticking in this late winter, early spring, cold water, doesn't matter. these fish will bite anyway, but they're so finicky, so picky. We're gonna let this fish go back right here. Actually, put him back right up here. All right, see you, buddy, appreciate it. All right, well, here's the burning question, and here's the question I'm sure you're asking right about now. How can I get me some of that? Where can I go? Where can I find some of these fish of my own? Well, let me give you a quick list that I put together of some of the places, reservoirs that have a good population of stripers and have a major river system feeding them that you can go up and duplicate this process. Here's my quick list. The Yadkin River feeding High Rock Lake in North Carolina, the Congaree and Wateree Rivers above Santee Cooper Lake in South Carolina, the Chattahoochee River north of Atlanta, Georgia feeding Lake Lanier, the Coosa River in Alabama's got several reservoirs, the Tennessee River at Watts Bar Reservoir in Tennessee, the Illinois and Arkansas Rivers in Oklahoma, and the Red River feeding Texoma Lake on the Texas-Oklahoma border. And by the way, if it's too late this year, if the fish have already moved back to the reservoirs, keep this in mind for next fall, next winter. They'll duplicate the same process all over again.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas report, brought to you by the Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, if you're in the Grand Strand area, we're the leader in water sports. We can take care of all your fishing needs, your boating needs, and if you want to take the kids out to become a pirate, we can do that here. Visit crazysistermarina.com and book your trip now. I'll tell you what, so many things going on. We're going to move over to freshwater and stay there. Tell you what, Captain Lee Huffman, my good buddy up in North Carolina, says that the Catawba River's on fire right now. Early morning, actually that first 4 hours of the daylight, he's having great success right now with some nice striped bass up there on the Catawba River using live gizzard shad, and it's producing some good fish. If your body of water's got stripers, get out there and try the same thing. And we're going to move to South Carolina. Captain Jason Bennett tells me the same thing, except he's finding some schooling fish early in the morning. He's getting on those, catching them, and then going to trolling live bait and having some great success this time of the year. This has been your Carolinas report, and it's brought to you by the Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
There he is, got him. Sluggish, old, slow fish in the wintertime. They don't want to fight all that much, and that's a skinny dude right there. Well, there's one more for you. Let me mention one thing. Depending on where you live, and I mentioned this earlier, but I want to elaborate on the fact that depending on where you live, this type of fishing could be almost over for this year. But the purpose that I wanted to get out here and do this and try to grub out a few more fish, as this water warms up, these fish are going to move back toward the reservoirs. They're going back to the lake. They'll go back on a feeding pattern. They'll be back up in fairly shallow water. They're in these deep holes going after these bait fish and trying to stay warm when it's really cold. So keep this in mind. And if it's a little too warm to do this, once it gets above 55 degrees water temperature, typically these fish head back toward the reservoirs. So keep it in mind though, next late fall, winter, heading into midwinter, late winter, going into springtime, they'll repeat the pattern again.
You can always watch our latest episode on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Catch up on past episodes by clicking the archive button and learn about fishing techniques and new gear at our how-to page. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for new fishing videos every day. Simply search for Fox Sports Outdoors and click the like button on Facebook and follow button on Twitter. And watch a new episode every week on any device by downloading the free Waypoint TV app on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide's new wireless and easy-to-use XI3. XI batteries, powering the world forward. Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist. And Strike King, designed by the pros, fished by you.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro question. This week, Kevin would like to know, is it better to take my fishing vacation during the bass pre-spawn or the actual spawn? For the answer, we asked 2016 Bassmaster Classic champion, Edwin Evers.
All right, the question is, if you got a vacation, do you want to take that vacation during the pre-spawn or the actual spawn? If I had my choice, I would like to take my vacation a week before the full moon in April, March, whatever that time frame is for your part of the country, when that water temperature is at 55 to 60 degrees the week before that full moon.
Thank you, Edwin. If you have a question for one of the pros, visit our website, follow the Ask the Pro link, and send it in. Now here's the latest Big Catch of the Week winner.
Every week on the show, someone gets their 15 seconds of fame in the Big Catch of the Week contest. We'll tell you how to send in your big fish photo momentarily, but first, here's this week's winner. He is John Robinson of Cure Beach, North Carolina, showing a 7 3/4 pound largemouth bass caught at Jordan Lake in North Carolina, and he caught it in a tournament. If you'd like to have a chance to have your photo shown on our show, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Click on the Big Catch of the Week area in the right side of the front page and follow the instructions to send us your photo. Here's some specialized gear that really helps if you're going to do this dead sticking in the late winter and early spring for stripers. Beginning with the Motor Guide XI5 or XI3 trolling motor. It helps keep you right in the channel, moving at a specific speed. I've got 2 how-to videos that show you the features of this trolling motor. Go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click on the how-to page and click on the 2 Motor Guide how-to features, one on the heading lock feature, one on the cruise control feature. They'll show you how to work this trolling motor. And it also helps to have a good rod holder. That's a Be Ready rod holder. There are several good styles on the market. As for the rod and reel, this is the Lew's Team Lew's Custom Pro rod. 7 foot, 11 inches long, and heavy action, and I had it paired with the Lew's Team Lew's Hyper Mag reel. It's made out of magnesium as far as the frame goes, so it's super light, super low profile, fits in the palm of your hand. It's got a couple of different ways to control backlash. It's got all the goodies like the speed counter, the speed keeper, the wind grip handles, everything you could possibly want in a bait cast reel. As far as the bait goes, we used a 1 ounce or 1.5 ounce lead jig head. On the back of that, we had a 5-inch soft plastic jerkbait, either a pearl white or chartreuse color, worked just fine. When's the last time you used the saying, "I don't have time"? Well, yes, you do. Why? Because each of us has the same amount of time in each day, 24 hours. It's up to us as to how we allocate and prioritize that time. Now, many of us use a smartphone to punch in all of our schedule on that calendar. We will dictate what gets top priority and what gets shoved to the background. Just remember, either you control your schedule or it will control you. I hope you enjoyed our trip today to learn how to dead stick stripers, the upper ends of major reservoirs and major river systems in the late winter and early springtime in cold, deep water. Remember these tips next winter and next spring, and I think you could put some stripers in your boat on a reservoir or river near you. Don't forget to follow us on social media for lots of good stuff that we don't have time for here on the show. We post videos every day. Follow us there and you'll always get the latest news. Till next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.